thank the chair very much. And I say that while noting that Representative Neal from Massachusetts and Representative Capuano from Massachusetts want to, at this point, insert their written statements in honor of Senator Kennedy, and that is why I made that unanimous consent request. But it is also for the purpose of any other member seeking to be recognized to be able to insert their comments at this point. And we rise to honor our friend and our mentor, Senator Edward M. Kennedy, one of the greatest senators in the history of the United States. He will be on a very short list of the greatest who have ever lived and served our country. We tonight gather noting that his son Patrick serves with us here in the House of Representatives, and we extend our best to him and to his sister Cara and to Teddy Jr., as well as and especially to his beloved wife Vicki and to all of the other members of the Kennedy family. He was without question an idealist without illusions, in the words of his brother. He worked as best he could to achieve the goals that he set for our country, while at the same time reaching across the aisle to find partners that he could work with in order to accomplish those legislative goals. And without question, it was our great honor as the Massachusetts delegation to work with him for all of those years. For me, I had the honor of serving for 33 years out of the 47 that Ted Kennedy served in Congress here as his colleague. It was my great honor. For each of us, there are too many stories to retell. But for me, it all begins with Ted Kennedy running for the Senate. And from that moment on, whenever he spoke about the war in Vietnam, or health care, or energy, or injustice to any person, no matter where they are in the world, I listened. And not only did I listen, but tens of millions of other people listened as well. Because he took us on a journey to issues and people that we did not know of, but he wanted us to know about and to respond to. That was really his greatness, that when he spoke, he was true north. He was someone who knew that he was speaking from his heart and speaking for issues that really only he had the capacity to draw the attention to, and he used his power to do so. He used this special gift that he had been given to accomplish those goals. I remember at the Democratic Convention in 1980, Senator Kennedy had asked me and Henry Royce over here, who was chairman of the Banking Committee, to introduce his energy bill, which would be the counter to the incumbent president's energy bill. And it called for solar and wind and conservation and higher fuel economy standards and a different technological direction for our country. And although his candidacy failed and energy was the big issue at that time, I got a call to come up to his room right after he gave that great "The Dream Shall Never Die" speech. And up in his room with his family, Patrick was there and others, in that room there was not a defeated man. There was someone who had been a great victor. There was someone who had brought all of these issues to the American people. In 1983, as Ronald Reagan had pulled out of all arms control negotiations with the Soviet Union the first time in a generation, he called me and he said, Eddie, you know what I would like to do? I would like to work with you on a nuclear freeze resolution to end all production of new nuclear weapons in the world. And he said, you know what would be a good idea? Why don't we have it at American University, where my brother gave his speech to end all atmospheric nuclear testing. And then 1 month later, there was There was an attention brought to this issue that changed that whole issue, and 3 months later, 1 million people were in Central Park calling for an end to the nuclear arms race. On every single issue he talked about in his entire life, it changed the whole dynamic of that issue because Ted Kennedy stood up and spoke to it. And he inspired me, and he inspired, I think, millions of people across the planet to change the course of their lives. And so it's been a great honor for me and for all of the rest of our delegation to be able to work with them.